Like, so this is what they think it looks like under the ground, which is fucking completely bonkers. And if there is some 40-meter metallic object that's under the ground, and we are talking about like this sport model being a part of an archaeological dig,
right?
They might have found something back then and worshipped that thing and had that thing as like,
they turned it into this,
right?
As a pyramid. Yeah. I think there's something to that.
Well, there, all these people that believe that there was an incredibly advanced civilization before some sort of apocalyptic disaster that reset civilization, and it took thousands of years. And what we are essentially is not the first advanced civilization, but a rebuild.
Yeah.
A rebuild. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years later. That rings true with me. And
me too.
As Graham Hancock always says, we're a species with amnesia. And I think that makes sense. And I think if you're dealing with people that were basically knocked back into the Stone Age 11,000, 12,000 years ago, and it took us forever to rebuild to where we are now, I think we've gone down a completely different path than whatever the people that were able to build the pyramids of Egypt and all these fantastic megalithic structures, where we don't understand.
Yeah, we
what
don't know how that
technology
happened.
we used. We don't.
Yeah.
And it literally doesn't make sense that they were able to do this.
It's even like when we see those big gigantic stones, and they're not just piled together; they're like interlocked in weird shapes and all that. It's like, how did that happen? I mean, those are things that I agree with you.
Yeah, archaeologists are very reluctant to admit it, but there's tremendous evidence that not only were these people far more advanced than we think people should have been back then, but they're probably more advanced than we are now with some different kind of technology.
And maybe, it's like advanced, but in a different way.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Otherwise,
a different pathway.
Yeah.
They didn't go
our way.
Yeah. They didn't go internal combustion engine and electronics.
Because we would see something.
Exactly.
Right.
But might not. If you're thinking about 100,000 years ago, there might not be anything left, which is part of the problem.
Right.
But whatever this metallic object is, if they are able to figure out a way to divert some of the water there, so all layers converge at a central corridor or avenue, he said, like the atrium of a shopping mall, where you could see all floors from one vantage point. A hall consisting of a massive space, 40 meters wide and no less than 100 meters long. My personal interpretation, Tim said, is that the entire hall was constructed to house a centrally positioned freestanding object about 40 meters long.
Wow.
So this hall, they believe, was constructed to house whatever this 40-meter long unknown metallic object is.
How could they not dig that up?
Well, they could, but it's going to cost an immense amount of money.
Right.
And the thing is about the Egyptians, the people that run it, I had one of them on the podcast, Zahi Hawass, and he's incredibly dogmatic about his ideas of who built this and what. And when you say, how did they make these structures? 2,300,000 stones that weigh between 2 and 80 tons, the biggest stones cut from quarries that were hundreds of miles away through the mountain. And it's like, this was a national project.
Yeah,
like,
the Egyptians did everything
shut the fuck up.
because they were awesome. Yeah, right.
I'm sure they were awesome. I'm
Yeah.
sure they were awesome, but it doesn't explain the technology involved, because there's extreme technology. Just to be able to cut those things. Like, one of the things that they don't understand is these vases. These vases that they made that are perfectly designed, where there's the difference between like the edges and the symmetry is like 1,000th of a human hair. And these are cut out of incredibly hard granite.
Really? I've never heard. You guys are familiar with that?
This is a 3D print of one of them that exists.
Yeah, and they're fascinated by the perfection.
Yes.
And they're saying, how did they do that? We don't even know how to do that.
Incredibly hard
Is there
stone.
built with an incredible precision?
Yes.
And
Incredibly
granite?
Incredibly hard granite, incredible precision back when they had no metal alloys. They had copper tools. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. And then there's the symmetry involved in some of these statues. Like, they're perfectly symmetrical in terms of the distance between the eyes, the nose, the lips. No one's face is symmetrical. Your left side of your face is different. If you combine the two sides, they look. It looks weird. But when you look at these statues, which are massive, carved out of granite, again, supposedly before they had steel. Like, they didn't have diamond-tipped instruments to do this. They polished them. They're perfectly symmetrical and massive. Some of them are 1,000 tons. And they don't have any understanding of how these people built these things or put them there. And they all seem to be the biggest, most spectacular ones are the oldest.
How could you not want to dig those up?
Yeah, well,
right?
And look at them, because I mean, they're concerned about national pride, but if you dig them up, I mean,
it's not just national pride; it's the pride of the people that have been espousing this one narrative for so long.
Right.
That's part of the
true.
problem. The gatekeepers of the information.
It's still national pride.
It is,
right?
but these people are idiots. That's part of the problem. Like, their own ego is preventing them from being open-minded and calling out to the world's research communities and saying, listen, there's something going on here. We don't have the big picture. We have a picture that we have formed from a limited amount of information, and we've been incredibly arrogant about what we're assuming. We also know that a lot of these pharaohs would carve their name and carve their hieroglyphs into existing things. They would claim existing things. Some of the carvings on these things are far cruder in the way they've done it than the actual construction of the thing. And they think that these are old things that were there already, and then these later pharaohs
just wanted to attach their name.
Chiseled their hieroglyphs into these things.
And another thing, and this has been mentioned a lot, is the fact that there's no tools that were ever discovered in those areas that would prove that those things were made with those. And they had to use tools. They had to have something.
Right.
So there's not even that. That's not even available.
Right.
So it's like, how did they do it? Did they hide the tools? I mean, why would they do that?
It doesn't. None of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
And also, these incredibly hard vases that you find, they're the oldest ones. They're the things that they find in the oldest sites. It's like the most complicated, complex, confusing technology seems to be the oldest stuff.
Yeah.
There's also like
you had another guy here that does a research on Peru, and he was I can't remember his name. I got to meet him.
Luke Caverns. Was it him?
Yeah, he goes to Peru, and he has a show about that, about the ancient stuff that they're finding underground in Peru.
There's a couple guys. What was the other guy?
He's got black hair. I can't remember his name.
That's Luke. The younger guy?
Yeah, younger guy.
Yeah, that's Luke. Yeah.
So basically, he was talking about the fact that there's 2 layers of ancient stuff in Peru. The first layer is younger, and what's below it is what's really incredible.
And more complex.
More complex.
Yes.
But they don't want to go there because you're going to destroy an existing archaeological site that's on top of it. So what's happening is they're having trouble now getting permission to go to the lower level, which is even better, because they're going to have to break an archaeological site of a more recent part of that civilization.
Yeah, well, this is a common theme among people. We build on older sites. There's a place that I go to in Italy in the Amalfi Coast, and there's this incredible old church there that's over 1,000 years old. But it's built on an even older church, and there's a plexiglass floor.
That shows the old church.
Yes, the old church is underneath it, and you can see the structure of this old church. And I was asking them, how old is the old church? They go, we don't know. It's over 1,000 years old. So it's over 1,000 years old, this church, and then this really old church is on top of it that's like hundreds and hundreds of years old also. But they built it on top of an existing structure. So this is a common theme. This is a theme in Peru, where you see the Inca construction, which is like much less complicated, smaller stones, mud mortar, but it's on top of these megalithic structures that are carved in these jigsaw shapes, where it seems like they've been melted.
Yeah.
It's freaky stuff. They have no understanding of what technology was used, who did it, how they moved these immense 1,000-ton stones and cut them with precision in this jigsaw way so that it will absorb the energy of earthquakes and not fall down.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean,
there's a lot of that stuff that's really, really freaky.